Do you ever get bored and you start to do the math surrounding your birthday? So like for me, for example, I was born at the end of November. And I was like, if I subtract like 9 months from that, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, shoot, February, 9 months before my birthday, Valentine's Day. And I was like putting it together and I was like, that means my parents made me on a day when like sexual relations is kind of expected, I was like, is that sad? I feel like that's sad. It's kind of beautiful, but it's kind of sad, right? Maybe because of that, or maybe because of all the crazy social pressure. Personally, Valentine's Day is not my favorite. Okay, I know that. I know I'm not alone in that. Or maybe you love Valentine's Day. I don't know. If you want to do like anything, right, you got to book a reservation like a year in advance. You got to buy flowers, a gift, and for what? For what, I have not met one person who wants to do any of this. No one does. And if anything, it seems like everyone just complains about Valentine's Day. And we all pretty much agree that it's just some kind of sham Hallmark holiday. I think we can all agree if you love someone, truly love them, then you show it all year round, right? Not just on one day a year. So it got me thinking, why does love get its own holiday? Is there a reason behind all of this? Or is it truly just like a commercialized holiday? I don't know. I want to know. I had to find out if Valentine's Day really is just a play to get money or if there's really something with some substance behind it. So Valentine's Day is named after a saint, Saint Valentine. But some historians believe that Valentine's Day actually has its roots in an ancient Roman holiday called Lupercalia. Now, wait till you hear about this. Now, when I heard of Lupercalia, I was like, kind of sounds like it has to do with like a leprechaun or something, right? It's giving me St. Patrick's Day. But Lupercalia wasn't, or isn't, a cute little luck of the Irish moment. And it wasn't about giving people gifts or telling your crush that you like them. Instead, it was raw. Now listen, Lupercalia started because Rome was allegedly founded by these two twin brothers named Romulus and Remus. So legend has it that Romulus and Remus were orphan babies, and they were found in a wicker basket by a wolf. This is how the story goes. Totally normal. Wolf finds babies. The story goes that the she-wolf saved their lives by letting them suckle on her teats. The brothers are eventually taken in by a shepherd, and they go on to create the city of Rome. But one tiny detail that was kind of a problem for Rome was that they had no pussy. They had no females. They had no women. Literally, no matter how hard they tried, these brothers, they could not get enough women to come and live in Rome. It was just one big sausage party, and they want to reproduce, right? So what are they going to do? Which got me thinking, like, side note, if you were a chick at this time, it would be great. You'd have so many options, right? It's just all men and just you. You'd be like, I'll take Brutus, Atticus, Crumulus, all my men. And you'd have them all to yourself because there was no competition. Goals. Anywho, so Romulus has a little light bulb moment. There's this town nearby where the Sabine people live. So he decides to invite all of them over for a party he's throwing. He's like, guys, come over. We're gonna have a party and like celebrate, yay. And in the middle of this party, Romulus has his men kidnap all of the Sabine women. Yeah, kidnaps them, snatches them up, gathers them, keeps them forever. Then he forces them to become Roman citizens, apparently by like partnering them all up with single Roman men. There are different interpretations of this event. Some people say like it was more of a mass gang rape, while others say it was a mass abduction and forced citizenship moment. Either way, it was forced. But to Romulus, this was gonna like solve their problem. They were gonna fix Rome's ratio problem. So to celebrate this every year, they would throw this big ass fertility party because they needed to procreate. So they end up naming it Lupercalia because Luper means wolf in Latin. So it's like a shout out to their mom with the teat. Great. And then also the fertility god, their name was Lupercus. So if you like think about it and like blend it all together, Lupercalia, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, you get it. So Lupercalia is like one of the most ancient Roman festivals, and it started all the way in 6th century BC. And this would happen every single year on February 15th. So right away, you may be seeing some of the similarities between this and Valentine's Day. So to kick off Lupercalia, they would always start in a cave and perform an animal sacrifice. So they all gather in this cave. They're like getting the animals, performing sacrifices. They would use dogs and goats. I don't know. I guess apparently these were known for being like the horniest animals, dogs and goats. And that was the energy they wanted to bring to the party. Horniness. So, they didn't know about rabbits yet, because I think we can all agree that's probably the most horniest animal out there, but that's okay. Dogs and goats. So this is where things start to get a little freaky, okay? When the priests would perform these sacrifices, they would get completely naked, okay? They would take their sacrificial knife, slit the animal's throat open, slice them open, drain the animal blood, like just drain out the blood, and then smear the blood all over themselves, on their foreheads, and just, well, it's like very Carrie almost. And all of this was to please the fertility god, Lupercus. Then the blood would be removed with a bunch of wool, and the wool had been soaked in milk. I know, super random, but it was also like red and white, milk and blood. And it was like, is that where we get the classic Valentine colors from? Dark shit, I don't know. But at this point in the ceremony, laughter was apparently highly encouraged. So the priests were supposed to laugh as the blood was like being removed from their faces. Okay, you know, I was like, all right, do you, boo? Maybe it was because it was just so awkward. Like, oh, hey, father, you've got a little goat blood on your face. You're so silly. Maybe, I don't know, fake. Have you ever like fake laughed, but then after fake laughing for about a minute, you start to laugh for reals? I think that's what they're doing, but I don't know why. Yeah. Anyhow, after the sacrifice, the Romans would have a big feast. But the fun, it wasn't over, because after the feasting was done, the men would run through the town naked, carrying goat skin thongs made out of the leftover skin from the sacrificed goats. Yes, goat skin thongs. I know, I wonder what that felt like. Apparently on their way through the town, they would whoop any woman they saw with these goat thongs, which were called febura. So kind of like February. I know, I don't know. They take these thongs and like just whip these women. It's like, what the I don't get it, but that's what they did. I guess it was consensual, allegedly. The women were actually said to love this goat thong whipping. It was like their favorite thing ever. They were like, whip me, ah. The women would even like come out of their house specifically to get whipped by one of these goat thongs, because not only was it good luck, but it also was said to make you more fertile. I love the logic, right? It makes sense, but it doesn't. Some say that all of the women would put their name into like a jar, and then the men would take turns one by one. They would reach their hand into the jar and like pull out a name. They're like, I got Deb. Deb? Well, guess what? That meant that this man and woman were now a couple for the rest of the fertility festival. So I'm assuming they had to have sex, right? That was the purpose, but I'm assuming. Now, this is a sweet part. Apparently, there were like couples who stayed together for a whole year until like the next Lupercalia festival. Even some of them got married. Cute.